A few weeks back, I was invited by the team at Black Parrot Adventures to join them on a ride across Honduras, spanning over 1,000 kilometers over 4 days. First step of the trip would be fetching the bike. Sorted out a bit of paperwork, picked up the bike and head straight to the fueling station. I had to figure out exactly how the fuel cap worked, filled up with about 13 liters, and then head home to peel the rest of the plastics off and prep the bike for the 1,000-kilometer journey ahead. With the plastics peeled, the tyres pumped and the fuel topped up, the Genesis was looking good. All that was left was to load the gear and get a good night's sleep. Alright, day 1 of 4 today, 300 kilometers coming up, plus minus 8 hours of riding and half of that time spent off-road, so let's see how the Genesis holds up. Let's go. Alright, this is the meeting point. Hola, buen día. Hola, mucho gusto.
¿Qué tal? Mucho gusto.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
¿Qué tal?
Bien, gracias. Good in here.
Yes, this is the first time we made it.
We don't know how well it's gonna do. We're gonna see. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
¿Qué tal? ¿Todo bien?
¿Cómo estás?
Bien.
This was my first look at some of the bikes that would be joining the ride. A mix of Royal Enfield Himalayans, KTM Adventures, a Yamaha XT, and a BMW G310. They would have some fun over the next few days on the off-road with road tyres. We made our first stop at a fuel station about 50 kilometers outside of Tegucigalpa to grab a quick bite to eat and to regroup with more riders who were joining from other parts of town. This would ultimately bring our group to a total of 17 riders from here on out. At about 180 k's into the trip would be the first time I would get the chance to take the Genesis GXT off-road. At this point, I was just having a little bit of fun on the bike. I was trying to get familiar with it on the off-roads, trying to see how I could really handle, and just pushing it a little bit. As you can see from the corners, the bike was a little loose in the back end, mostly due to a rear shock I couldn't actually adjust at any point, and a chain that would get a little looser and looser as the bike stretched out over more mileage. But, all in all, I had a blast on the dirt roads and really enjoyed the chance to open up the Genesis. So much so that I clearly even forgot about the lens collecting all the dust. And I would soon find out that what I thought was overexposure on my lens would actually just be an ND filter covered in dust.
This is River Patuca.
Patuca.
Yeah, Patuca River. This is the same with when we went to La Mosquitia. We simply said we navigate way.
Now that definitely looks a lot better.
Well done.
After a quick stop at the river, I was back on the road to head to Catacamas.
Okay, camera's off. We're about 325 k's in. Just rode on this incredible dirt road. It was absolutely amazing, and this bike is doing really well, I won't lie. Suspension's a little bit soft, but it's impressive. So enjoying it, sweating like a machine. It's super hot, but very excited. Pero, ¿qué necesitas?
Ah, no, el mapa lo tiene usted.
Ah, shit, no tengo. Go with them.
You gotta take pictures and everything because the dam flooded all the river there, and it's beautiful.
Oh,
we have to go this way because there's no more road there.
Oh, we have to go
The
this way?
same dam that we crossed there is the same river, but we went like this, and now we're going like that. So
Oh, beautiful.
I'm gonna wait for it.
Ah, okay. Oh, yeah. Oi!
Fell 2 times.
You okay?
Oh yeah. I was like drifting with the back tire, and
He was drifting. It was, just, and I said,
And it
"Don't do
just
that shit.
slipped.
Don't do that shit.
I was like,
You're tempting
I'm trying,
the devil.
I'm trying, okay.
You're tempting the devil."
just testing,
He's like,
I'm just
and then,
With only about 30 kilometers left of day one, it was time for a quick stop to grab a lunch by the river before we hit the back roads of Catacamas. And honestly, you can't beat spam in a can with some crackers as a super quick meal on a bike trip. After wrapping up lunch, I thought it'd be a great idea to actually change up the camera angle and get some front-facing footage, because surely that would look cool at some higher speeds on the dirt roads and avoid the dust on the lens again. Turns out it was a bad idea, as at this point there was just dust everywhere on the bike, and about 500 meters later the mount started to come loose. So enjoy the only front-facing footage of the entire trip. Yeah, I was pretty disappointed too.
Well, if you're ever wondering why to buy a GXT, we're in the middle of nowhere, and there's a repair shop with spares and parts for this.
So what exactly was the whole purpose of this trip? Well, I was invited by the team at Black Parrot Adventures to test the Genesis GXT over 1,000 kilometers and put the bike through its paces to see what issues, if any, would come up during the course of this trip. And this bike was the first of a new fleet to offer riders and adventure enthusiasts from all over the world an opportunity to explore Honduras by motorbike.
Gracias. Thank you.
O sea, me ve trabajando y me dice, papá, juguemos, papá. Ya te diga.
At this point in the afternoon, our group was left with 8 riders, as the others were either further ahead or further behind. 8 hours and 300 kilometers later, it was time for a beer. While some of the guys were working on their bikes that evening, I had a quick look at the Genesis, and all was in order. The bike had no issues, so it was time to call it a night. Six in the morning. We're leaving in 30 minutes. We've got 95 Ks coming up today. 50 Ks is paved. 45 Ks is gonna be through the jungle. So super excited. Got a good nice rest last night. And let's see how the Genesis holds up today. After running a little late in the morning, I caught up with the rest of the riders to kick off day 2 with a quick meet at a nearby fuel stop before heading off on an 8-hour ride through dirt roads, rivers, forests and some amazing mountain passes. I admired the patience of the roadworks crew. They were trying to build a new road, with traffic passing through on both cars and bikes. We stopped in a small town in Dulce Nombre de Culmi, located in the Olancho department of Honduras, to grab some breakfast. Breakfast is served. It's a sign.
Dos más, nada más.
Breakfast of champions. Let's go. This region is famously known as the gateway to the Rio Plátano Biosphere Reserve, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known as one of the most important biological corridors in Central America.
A little bit of carb tuning, just to adjust the idle.
Absolutely cooking. We have a puncture, not on this bike, but someone in the group at the back. So we stopped, waiting for them. Time to get out of this jet. Because of its mountainous terrain, the local economy relies primarily on coffee cultivation and cattle ranching, and we would come across a lot of wandering cattle on the way.
Gracias. This is beautiful.
Yeah, you're going down to the jungle already. Going down to the coast. And then we're gonna hit flat, all flat.
And now it was my turn. But I had it easy, as I was the last to go, and by this point the riders were able to point out the easiest path for me. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the support.
Oh,
Ella puede caer, mejor adelante.
there we go. Dino went to the worst possible point.
He flew over the handlebars,
Really?
and we had to get a
Jolly.
pickup truck pull him out of the mud.
Oh no. We'll just cross that.
Estaba mamada.
Qué cagada, güey. Y yo cuando estaba abajo ya venía cerca.
It was another scorcher of a day, but every day seemed to have some relief to the heat, and today's was a quick dip in the river before grabbing another quick lunch and continuing the journey through an incredible mountain pass as we made our way to Sico.
Definitely one of us.
Yeah, this is mine.
That was yours?
The one from the front.
Oh, there you go.
We took a quick break in the shade to refresh. It seems we weren't the only ones with a plan to cool off there. A couple of kilometers later, we encountered a rope toll, where we had to pay a small fee per bike to cross the man-made bridge that would help us over the river, as the main bridge was still under construction. We didn't have much of a choice, and after experiencing the mud for some of the guys, I think it was definitely the best option. As we hit the drier roads, we head straight to Sico, where we would spend the night. We arrived in Sico after an 11-hour adventure, making our way through the beautiful back roads of Honduras, taking every detour possible, and honestly, it made for an unbelievable day of riding. But I had no idea what to expect the next day. After a solid night hanging out with the other riders, chatting about the day's adventures over some beers and baleadas, it was time to head out of Sico and make our way to a nearby coastline on the way to Trujillo. And with the heat of the past few days, a morning spent in the water sounded amazing. As we left Sico, we head up into the mountains yet again for some adventurous riding and some incredibly beautiful, scenic views of the Caribbean Sea. It wasn't long before we would finally arrive at the beach. And I would quickly learn that it's not actually that easy to ride on soft sand. So I was given a little bit of advice, and I was told to stick as close to the shoreline as possible, as this would be the easiest place to ride and keep it on 2 wheels. Then I almost crashed into the sea.
Good.
Ah, right, huh?
It almost went swimming.
Then we go back and we can have a swim, and there is a sweet water after, and then we go.
After a quick cool off in the sea, it was time for lunch, and the fishermen from the local community offered to prepare us some fish and rice before we head out on the road. Today would clearly be a day full of food. As we made our way closer to Trujillo, we stopped about 100 kilometers into the trip to snack on some catrachas and to refresh. After a few quick stops along the way, we only had a few kilometers to go before we reached Trujillo, ahead of this incredible sunset before calling it a night. The final day would prove to be the longest, with 400 kilometers ahead of us, as we made our way back to Tegucigalpa from Trujillo. But it wouldn't have been an adventure without us heading off into the nearby jungles in the early morning before making the trip home. Not long after we hit the main road, one of the Himalayans got a puncture, and a quick tube change and we thought we'd be on our way, but it was pinched. Luckily the second time around the guys managed to get it fitted with no issues. But that would prove to only be the beginning, as shortly after, one of the mechanic's bikes got damaged on the tyre wall, resulting in another flat tyre for the day. A quick visit to one of the nearby bike shops to grab a fresh tyre and have it fitted, and then we could hit the road and head home. But it wasn't smooth sailing just yet. We were then hit with an ignition issue on the Yamaha XT, which actually gave me some time to take a closer look at this KLR and all the amazing adventures that it had been on. That was sorted and it was back on the road. One last goodbye to the rest of the riders as we got closer to home and went our separate ways.
And we're back. 1,100 kilometers later. In one piece. We did break one thing though. And it's not the bike. It's my boots.
So after a solid night's rest and 4 incredible days out exploring Honduras, it was time to head home. And all I can say is a massive thank you to Black Parrot Adventures for having me out and for the incredible experience to explore this beautiful country. I'll definitely be back.